On the Prism and Pyramid worksheet, in this video, I'll record how to do number 5, 8, and 9. So number 5, you're given a cube. The total area of a cube is 216 centimeters squared. So total area means that you're finding the area of all 6 surfaces, and each surface has a side length of s. So if you look up the formula, the total area of a cube is 6s squared. So if you're given total area is 216 and you're trying to find the length of an edge, you're solving for something quadratic with a single variable squared. So isolate, we get s squared equals 36. Undoing squaring is taking the square root. The side length can only be positive, so we ignore the plus or the negative of the plus minus. So 6 centimeters is the length of a side. On number 8, we're given information about a right hexagonal pyramid. So here's my suggestion to you for drawing a pyramid. What I do is I draw the hexagon. It's regular, and I don't draw it regular because I'm thinking of it from a viewpoint of looking at it from the side and sort of from the top. So then from there, draw a point on top because this is a pyramid, the vertex. And then picture what you would see if you were looking at it straight on. You would see this front side. It's kind of to the side. You would see that as well. And the back edge, you would only see you wouldn't be able to see that, so I draw dotted lines to indicate that that's there, but we can't see it unless it's clear. So from there, they ask that we find the volume. And the volume formula for a pyramid is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. The given information is that you have a regular hexagonal pyramid with a base edge of 8, and the height is, if you were to drop a perpendicular down from the vertex to the center of that hexagon down at the bottom, that length right there is equal to 12. So given that I have to find the area of the base, I'm going to start off with, well, what is the area of the base? And that is going to change depending on what your base is. So make sure you guys have your area formulas out. And since this is a regular hexagon, it is 1/2 AP for all regular polygons. So what I'm going to do is in green, I'm going to draw that regular hexagon, not at a tilt. And then from there, there's certain pieces of information that I can glean. For example, the whole length of the side is 8. So from here to here, this length is half of that, 4, when we drop an altitude down. Now that altitude is also called the apothem, and the apothem value is what we need for A. So another piece of information that would help is that, remember when we're finding this, we're trying to figure out what the central angle is. And the central angle is 360 divided by the number of sides, which is equal to 60. That makes this angle in the top part of that right triangle equal to 30 degrees, half of 60. So here we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And to get the value of the apothem, we would take, since 4 is the short leg, we would take 4 and multiply it by radical 3. So 4 rad 3 is your apothem value. So now we have 1/2 apothem 4 radical 3. The perimeter of the hexagon is, each length of the side is 8, and then you have 6 of those sides, so perimeter is 48. And we got that by taking 6 times 8. So if you simplify this, half of 4 is 2. 2 times 48 is 96 radical 3. Now this is the value that we're going to substitute into capital B, which is the area of the base. So volume is equal to 1/3 times 96 radical 3 times the height, which is 12. And then all together, you have this is equal to 384 radical 3. So 1/3 of 12 is 4. 4 times 96 is 384. So our answer is 384 centimeters cubed. And I will also do number 9 in this video. Number 9, we're given that we're asked to find the lateral area, total area, and volume of a prism where the base is a triangle with sides 6, 8, 12. So how do you sketch a 6, 8, 12 triangle? So that should look familiar to you guys because that is a Pythagorean triple in which the sides are scaled from a 3, 4, 5 triangle to be 6, 8, 10 by 2. So that being a right triangle, the first thing I sketch is, because this is a prism, I'm going to go ahead and sketch 2 right triangles that are similar to, or that are congruent to each other. So you have 10 being the longest side, so that's my hypotenuse across from the right triangle. 6 is the short side, 8. And so that's the top and the bottom of my prism. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect the front side, and I can't see the back side, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a dotted line down. So now if I'm trying to find the lateral area of this shape, then I'm going to go ahead and highlight a couple things to you guys. So if you take a look at just this front side right here, you're given that the height of the prism, it was presented in the problem, the height is 12. Okay, so if I'm trying to find the lateral area, remember the prisms, the lateral faces are all rectangles. So that rectangle right there that I highlighted has a height of 12 and a length of 10. So 12 times 10. And then what we do is now try to find, let's go ahead and highlight, let's see if this works here. The rectangle behind that is this rectangle. And so that rectangle is got a length of 8 and the height of 12, or base and height of 8 and 12 respectively. So we have 8 times 12. And then finally you have, let's change the color, you have one more rectangle back there. And for that rectangle we have that one of the sides is 6, and then the other side is the height, which is 12. So plus 6 times 12. So I'm literally adding up each one of the rectangles. Also, another way of doing this was finding the perimeter and then timesing the height. So just one way of thinking about it, where you see that the height is in all of these. So intuitively, if you guys forget the formula, this is one way of thinking about it, is just finding the area of all the lateral faces. So 288 is the answer to that, and there's no unit of measure, so we'll just leave it as 288. Now the next problem, let me go ahead and erase this bottom portion. The next problem is going to ask for total area. So total area, if we remember, is lateral area plus we have a top and a bottom, so plus 2 times the area of the base. So the lateral area we just found was 288. The base of that prism is a right triangle. So if you take a look at a right triangle, 6, 8, 10, you have that the area of any triangle is 1/2 base times height, where the base is 6 and the height is 8. So if you simplify that out, you guys will get that the base, that this is 24. And so your total area should be 336 when you add those all together. And finally, we have volume as the last part of it, and the volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. Well, from the previous problem, we just said, or from the previous calculation on total area, we said the area of the base was 24. The height of this is 12, so 24 times 12, and we get 288 units cubed.